Learning new tunings on the guitar can be beneficial in many ways. It can help you be more creative in writing different sounding songs. It can help you out of a rut if you're playing the same stuff over and over again. And it can also help with ear training, but I'll talk more about that later. There are many different tunings out there, some more complex than others, but the ones I'll show you today, you will be able to pick them up right away, start cranking out some awesome sounding tunes, as well as learning some of your favorite songs. I'm also going to talk about a few tips when using these tunings, as well as things to avoid when using these open tunings constantly on your guitar. The first one I want to go over is open G. The strings go as follows. So the low E string is now a D, the A string is a G, the D, G, and B strings stay the same, and the high E is now a D. This tuning is very versatile in playing so many different songs and styles of music. You can play the blues, country, ambient, folk, and much more. You probably hear this tuning more often than you think you do. Keith Richards used it on a lot of songs like Can't You Hear Me Knockin' and Jumpin' Jack Flash. Jimmy Page also used it for a few live songs when he did Bron-Y-Aur Stomp, as well as That's the Way. Even though those songs were actually in different tunings in the studio version, it was just easier for Page to use this tuning to tailor it to those songs live. Now that actually brings up a point that I want to talk about. There's another song called Fearless by Pink Floyd. The tuning Gilmour used on that track is not open G. But the song is in the same key, so we were able to utilize this tuning and have it sound very similar without having to tune it to that crazy, wacky tuning. So this tuning can also be a substitute for those other crazy tunings that you'll see in your favorite songs. So if you pull up tabs to learn these songs and it doesn't sound exactly right, then that's why. Now, if you're anything like me, you're gonna love playing these open tunings, especially when you first discover them, and you'll play them constantly. Now, as good as that can be for your creativeness, there's actually something to be aware of. When you tune your guitar to certain tunings that require a lot of tightening of the strings, this can have a bad effect on your guitar. The guitar will not be used to the weight the strings are pulling, and if left in that tuning for too long, this can throw the neck and the guitar all out of whack. Now this may be a bit dramatic, but in my experience, I've left tons of guitars in different tunings for weeks or months, and when it came time to put them back in standard tuning, it gave me a whole bunch of problems. It wouldn't stay in tune, the neck ended up warping, and I had to pay someone to fix it. All of that could have been avoided if I just put the guitar back in standard tuning. Now these tunings I'm going over in this video aren't going to do any harm to your guitar, but when you end up experimenting with other tunings, it's just something to be aware of. Now, if you have more than 2 guitars, then make the other one your open tuning guitar and get the proper strings and set up for it. The final tuning I want to take a look at is open C. So the tuning goes like this: C, G, C, G, C, high E. So the E string, D string, and B string are all C. The A string is a G, the G string stays the same, and so does the high E string. This is one of my all-time favorite tunings, and I use it a lot to write new songs and when my playing feels stagnant in standard tuning. There are tons of songs that use this tuning, but what I want to talk about and show you now is how to come up with your own stuff, and more importantly, how to do that using your ear. Since all of the strings are tuned to sound like an open chord, we don't have to use our fretting hand to build that chord anymore. So we can now take advantage of that by finding where the notes that work are and fret those notes as we strum the open strings. You can start doing this by taking it one string at a time. Let's start with the high E string. So you can take your finger and start anywhere on the neck. You want to build your way up between the 12th fret and the 1st fret, and you want to find the good notes and the bad notes that you need to avoid. That sounds pretty good. I'll move up to the second. See, that doesn't sound right. That does not sound good, so you want to avoid that second fret. So let's keep building that up. Third fret sounds good. I'm going to skip to the fifth fret this time. Now that sounds also really great. The fourth fret probably is not going to sound good. Yep. So we're going to do that for the rest of the E string up to the 12th fret, and then it'll repeat after the 12th fret if you want to use higher octaves. You're pretty much finding all the notes in the C major scale on each individual string, so you'll be able to utilize all of these frets to make up cool chords and cool riffs. So for the B string, we'll apply that same method. We'll start on the first fret, build our way up to the 12th, see what works, see what doesn't. Obviously, that sounds absolutely terrible, so let's skip that first fret. That's not much better. Nope. Nope. There you go. So we have... So the goal is to do this on all the strings, get familiar with what frets work, and you can combine all of them and come up with some really awesome riffs, songs, chords, whatever you want to do with it. Now for the G string, we're going to do that same exact thing. Start on the first fret. Nope. It's very similar to the B string, except for that note. So we know it's not the 11th fret at all. It's the 10th, and then the 12th fret. So we have... Now a little tip, since we have a few strings that are the exact same, like the C here, and C here, as well as the two Gs, whatever frets that work on one of them, they will work on the same corresponding string. So the G string we had, that's going to apply to this string as well because the A is now a G string. So the B, D, and low E string are now C strings technically. So we can play what we learned on that B string and apply it to those other strings. That low E string that's now a C will also sound exactly like the other strings. So you can apply this method to almost any tuning and receive similar results. Over time, when you get more familiar with the structure of these tunings, you will be able to come up with some really unique riffs and songs, just like those awesome guitar players like Keith Richards and Jimmy Page. Thanks for watching. I hope this video gave you some more insight on these different tunings, and if you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up so the algorithm can pick that up and show this to other guitar players who want to learn how to play these tunings. I also post new videos every Thursday, so if you enjoy these types of videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. I'll see you next week, and remember to keep on playing.